Howdy YouTube, we are here with our boy Blooms, our best South Park content creator in the business today. Let's see what he has to say. South Park just went nuclear. I've not watched this special yet. I assume he's going to end up spoiling something for me though. I do plan to, actually I can watch it tonight since I'm going to have a short stream today. Dragon Age of Veilguard kind of really took it out of me. And doing reactions I have to turn my AC and my fan off, otherwise you hear it in the microphone. So it's hot, I'm tired, and I have a headache from Veilguard. And just the stress of the god-awful game that game was. Jesus. Give him a like and a sub. I don't know why I didn't already sub to him. That's weird. I'm subbed to him on my main account. I guess I didn't do it on this account.
27 premiere of South Park just aired, and
Oh, okay.
Booking.com has all kinds of stays
What up, Miss Piggy? How you doing, girl?
because a romantic hotel works.
so the season 27 premiere of South Park just aired, and
I like to do this
holy
on
shit.
stream
I
so
think it's safe
everybody
to say
knows.
that
I'm
South
doesn't
Park
feel like I'm trying
is
to hide it.
back. And when I say that, I don't just mean that the show is literally back. I mean the soul, the edge, the controversy.
Okay. That means they did something kind of controversial and they're going to get canceled.
South Park is back in a way that they haven't been back in probably at least a decade. And if they hadn't,
Yeah, it's kind of dropped off. Like, PC Principal was an interesting character at first, but then it felt like they didn't know what to do with him, and he just became, like, a boring, wasted character.
made it very clear in the past,
And honestly kind of annoying, because now he's doing something, but he has no direction with it.
I think Matt and Trey just wanted to remind us, they truly do not give a single fuck. What they did in this episode is probably the most insane middle finger I have ever seen, and I'm not even talking about what they did to Trump. Sure, they tore Trump to shreds,
I assume he means middle finger to Paramount, who bought them for an obscene amount of money.
but not just for the sake of it. No, making fun of Trump was a calculated play on their part to achieve their real goal, screwing Paramount as hard as they can. Like, I don't think you guys understand.
Okay, well, that's kind of screwing them, but not really, because frankly, people love South Park, and the more divisive it is, the more attention it gets, and the more attention it gets, the more people want to watch it. So Paramount's probably doing better than they have in a very long time, because South Park is like the flagship show.
Just how insane this actually is. I'm so excited to talk about it because if you don't know the full context of everything going on behind the scenes, by the end of this video you will, and you'll understand that this might be the most insane thing South Park has ever done, even crazier than the Muhammad and Scientology.
Okay, the Scientology one wasn't crazy. Crazy. Muhammad one was kind of crazy, but that was just because they were threatening to get bombed.
This is genuinely some next level 200 IQ supervillain shit on the part of Matt and Trey. So enough of the intro, let's just get straight into it. Personally, I'm just so happy that South Park is finally back. There's really nothing better than when one of your favorites is back and better than ever, which just so happens to be the case with today's sponsor, Raycon. Now, I've talked about Raycon's everyday earbuds before. I've been using them for close to a year at this point, but they've somehow managed to make them even better by including the one thing that they were missing, active noise cancellation. I've really been loving this feature because I wear these pretty much everywhere I go, and if I ever want to tune out all the noise around me, all I gotta do is turn on the noise cancellation and we're good to go. Combine that with 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life, and they pretty much are always in my ears, whether I'm working out, shopping, going for a walk, pretty much anything. They're incredibly comfortable in my ears, and I also use their awareness mode all the time
how much
if I ever
are
need to hear
they?
anything around me. So that's why you need to go to buyraycon.com/blooms right now to get 20.
Because mine are J-Labs. I got them for like $40 about 6 years ago. Still work in perfect, well, mostly perfect condition. The right one has a bit of an issue, but I only use the left one anyway. I only like having one in my ear, that way I can still hear things going on around me. But I only use like the one in my left ear, perfectly fine. It lasts for longer than 8 hours. I know I've used them for entire work shifts, which is about 9 hours, including a lunch hour. So $40 earbuds, let's go.
% off of the fan favorite everyday earbuds classic. Again, that is buyraycon.com/blooms. You can click the link in the description.
But if you want
or in the
Raycon,
comments to get
use
20% off of
code,
your
I don't know,
everyday
I
earbuds
stopped,
classic. And of course, a
Bloom.
huge thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video.
Might as well get that discount, baby. You're gonna get them anyway.
So I'm going to start with a quick summary of the episode, and then I'll give context as to why this is so crazy, but if you want to just skip to that, feel free to do so with the chapters. The episode opens with Cartman finding out from his mother that his favorite comedy radio show, NPR, has been taken off the air by the president. Of course, this
That
is
was comedy. Okay, yeah, it's Cartman. I can see why that would be a comedy radio show to him.
Cartman, so calling NPR a comedy show is pretty par for the course.
It had like gay rappers from Mexico all sad because girls in Pakistan got stoned to death. And guess why they got stoned to death? Because they were raped. It was hilarious. Why would anyone cancel that?
What? Okay, yeah, that feels like a reason why why they try to get canceled, but that's not why. Apparently, Trump is more important than that thing he just said.
Begins to notice that the cultural tides seem to be shifting away from woke, and he's afraid of that happening.
Woke stuff is off limits. I mean, it's like now everyone rips on the Jews and it's totally fine, huh, Kyle?
His last hope is PC Principal, the man whose entire character is literally just a representation of woke politics, but he quickly learns that he too is compromised.
Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Now,
I'm not sure
That's the exact opposite of what I expected from PC Principal.
if this is referencing a specific event, but I know that this administration has made statements about wanting to put Christianity back into the government and schools, with some states doing things like putting the
No. I think Christianity is important if you believe in that, but you can't force that on the kids in school because there's going to be kids in there that don't believe that, and you can't do that. Separation of church and state. I'm sorry. You need to keep that away. Let them believe what they want to believe. You cannot make them practice something they don't believe in, and you should not be pressuring them into it by putting it in the school, because there will be kids that bully them for not taking part in the thing that they believe in, because kids are stupid.
commandments in the classroom. So of course, the way they go about showing this is by having PC Principal bring Jesus himself into the school. So Stan tells Randy this, and he's slightly concerned, so he does what every good parent would do and talks to ChatGPT about it. Back at school, Cartman is freaking out.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people are using GPT for everything. I'm sorry, I've never used GPT. I'd rather just figure it out from Reddit, a reliable source.
About the fact that even PC Principal isn't woke anymore, and he declares woke to be dead.
You can just say retarded now. Nobody cares. Everyone hates the Jews. Everyone's fine with using gay slurs.
Now, you may be wondering, why would Cartman, of all people, care about things being less woke? You would think
Because he gets off on being offensive. I remember that episode where he saved Kyle's life whenever they moved to San Francisco. He only did that because his life is nothing without someone being just absolutely infuriated at him and trying to rip on him back.
he would rejoice over that? Well, not exactly, because if no one is woke, Cartman has no one to piss off. Cartman doesn't actually hold any political beliefs at all. All he cares about is
You could still tick people off by not being woke. I mean, making fun of him for being Jewish would still tick him off specifically.
using social or political movements for his own enjoyment, and of course there is nothing he enjoys more than antagonizing people. So if no one's woke anymore, he has nothing to live for. I also feel like this is kind of a meta joke about South Park itself, where Matt and Trey feel like being politically incorrect and offensive was kind of their whole thing, but now that it's seemingly the norm, it's just not the same. They're not special anymore. At the bar, the whole town is talking about
And it's hard to make a statement on something when everyone's agreeing with you because they're missing the point. Because they're just applying their own thing to it. They're trying to make fun of something in a way that they're not really going to understand. Because, the crazy people on both sides are going to see what they want to see in it. And they're completely miss the message that they're trying to send that, hey, this is stupid. You need to take a look at your actions.
the president, and we begin to see the effects of the death of woke firsthand.
I voted for him to get rid of all the woke stuff, but now that retarded faggot is just putting money in his own pockets.
So they all get riled up and decide to take
Yeah, he's a politician and a businessman. What did you think was going to happen?
matters into their own hands, forming an angry mob and heading straight to the president's front door. Except when they bust in, they find a scene they didn't expect.
Excuse me, do you mind?
So Garrison is no longer the president. He gave up on that at the end of the last season. And can I just say, thank God. Garrison has always been
I don't remember that. Did I miss 2 specials?
one of my favorite characters, and him having to play the role of Trump for so long was downright exhausting.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad they got rid of that. It went on way too long because he stopped being Garrison. He just continued to be a parody, which made him less Garrison and took that character out of the show entirely. And frankly, they harped on that. It's one thing to make a joke about something, to make fun of something, but if you're making fun of it for years, constantly, it's not a joke anymore.
I am so
You
glad
ran
they found
into
a way
the
to remove him
ground.
from that role entirely. But if Garrison isn't president, it begs the question.
Who's the retarded faggot in the White House?
We get the answer to this question alongside the return of a familiar face.
A dictator from the Middle East? Hey, relax, God. I'm just your average Joe. Take a rest.
Now, if you're not a scholar in South Park lore like myself, you may not understand
It's so weird they use the same head and face, but Trump's American, so he shouldn't have the Canadian face. So I'm guessing it is Saddam Hussein?
who this is, but that's why I'm here. That, my friends, is Saddam Hussein, and he was an occasionally recurring character from the early seasons of the show. The last time he made a major appearance was 22 years ago back in season 7 when he got caught pretending to
That
be
was
the Prime
22 years ago? God, I'm old.
Minister of Canada. He played a major role in the South Park movie as Satan's lover and a couple of subsequent episodes in the following season. But he is back in all of his glory, this time with a fresh new look. Now, technically,
Yeah, I think they overplayed Saddam Hussein too. I did not care for it.
we don't know if this is actually a separate character, just given the exact same voice and mannerisms as Saddam, or
I feel like he looks just like him with the flapping head, the voice, and the little connected arms, like the Canadians do. They make them Canadian. I don't know why they made Saddam Hussein like that. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm hoping it's just Saddam Hussein.
if it's Saddam wearing a disguise. I tend to lean towards the latter because he did exactly that in his last appearance, and there's a few lines that hint at it.
Hey, come on. You don't want me to bomb you like I did Iraq. I thought you just bombed Iraq. Iran, Iraq. What the hell's the difference? Relax, guy.
But this is the point when the episode really
Yeah, that's exactly what he said as Saddam Hussein, almost word for word.
starts to go off the rails, giving us a completely absurd and Looney Tunes-esque caricature of Trump, who goes down the halls critiquing all of his portraits for his penis being too small. Then he hops into bed with another familiar face we haven't seen in a while.
I can't even see anything, it's so small.
Now, this may seem overly childish even by South Park standards, but there is a very good reason for that, which we'll talk about later in the video.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Cartman has completely given up hope, confiding in Butters at the pond. Without Woke, he has nothing to live for, and despite Butters' pleas, he knows what he has to do.
I'm gonna kill myself. And you.
Back in the White House, Trump is living it up.
Why are you trying to kill
air the town's
Butters?
grievances. He casually walks past some rather flattering artwork on the wall while they chat, and he ends it by threatening to sue South Park. And Satan has a couple of questions for him when he gets back into bed.
Another random bitch commented on my Instagram that you're on the Epstein list.
Are we still talking about that?
It's weird that whenever it comes up, you just tell everyone.
Why do you say a boot? Okay, he's got to be a Saddam Hussein, right?
To relax. You remind me more and more of this other guy I used to date. Like, a lot.
Meanwhile, Cartman is in Butters'
Okay, yeah, they're dropping a lot of hints. It has to be Saddam Hussein and not Trump.
garage attempting to suck down the exhaust from the car, and he eventually convinces Butters to join in. 60 Minutes is very timidly reporting on South Park's protest against Trump, which gives a pretty funny gag.
The Stodge family is proud to say that we own an electric car.
What's funny about this is I actually predicted they would make this joke because they made pretty much this exact same joke back in season 12.
What happened? I thought you were gonna kill yourself. I tried. Went to sleep in my mom's car in the garage with the engine turned on. But you didn't die? Freaking hybrids, man. They just don't do the trick anymore.
So then
Hey, I drive a hybrid. Good to know that I never accidentally kill myself.
Jesus comes in to explain to the town what's really going on, and he outright name drops Paramount, CBS, and Stephen Colbert.
I saw what happened to CBS. Yo, well, guess who owns CBS? Paramount. You really want to end up like Colbert? You guys gotta stop.
Just like immediately, rapid fire, man.
And I'll explain all of this in a second. The episode ends with the town agreeing to settle with Trump, but as part of the settlement, they have to promote pro-Trump messaging, and we get our first pro-Trump PSA.
Who survived the wilderness and gave the
Oh,
ultimate
I
sacrifice?
think I saw this one on
Donald
Twitter.
J. Trump.
DJT, getting it on.
And I endorse this message.
Oh,
His
gross.
penis is teeny tiny, but his love for us is large.
It is just absolutely absurd with Trump being deep-faked onto an actor, and I wish I could show what happens next, but you're just gonna have to go
He's a really
watch the
fat
episode.
guy.
The final shot leaves us with Cartman and Butters still sitting in the car, waiting for their inevitable demise, which of course will never come. Now, again, the way they made fun of Trump in this episode seems to be incredibly juvenile, even for South Park, but trust me, this is all calculated, so let's get into it.
Everything they do is calculated, of course.
So on the surface, this doesn't seem like anything particularly special. They went pretty hard on Trump, but it's not necessarily out of the ordinary.
Yeah, they go hard on everybody when they try to go hard on people. Like, if they're gonna make fun about somebody, they're gonna go all in.
South Park. But allow me to explain what the real plan was here so that you can fully grasp the massive set of balls Matt and Trey have just put on display. So I talked in my last two videos about South Park's dealings with Paramount and how Paramount has seemingly screwed them over time and time again. I recommend you check out those videos for the full context, but this is the short version. Paramount has been dealing with a lawsuit from Warner Brothers regarding South Park streaming rights for years at this point. This has
Yeah.
affected South Park's production.
The specials went on Paramount, but the actual episodes went on HBO Max. That's why they didn't make any episodes. They just took the episodes, put them together, and made them specials, technically, so they could put them on Paramount, and then just gave HBO nothing.
Greatly. Paramount is trying to merge with Skydance just as South Park is coming to the end of its contract with HBO for streaming rights. The merger is a quote shit show according to Matt and Trey, and it causes the new season to be delayed by 2 weeks. And all of this is going on while they're
Ooh,
trying
they're not
to
gonna like
negotiate
that.
a new deal for streaming. The incoming executives from Skydance are given control over Paramount's deals, and they change the terms of South Park's original deal they had planned with Paramount. On top of that, the executives begin meddling in their negotiations with other companies like Netflix and HBO. Matt and Trey are very upset by this, and they threaten to sue Paramount over it only 2 weeks ago from today. So Matt and Trey have been very upset with Paramount for a very long time now, and leading up to the last couple of days, we didn't even know if they would
Yeah,
still
you don't
be
want to mess
signing
with
them
Matt and
for
Trey, dude.
exclusive
They do
streaming
not put up with crap. Because they don't have to.
rights. So that's all stuff we already knew, but a couple of days
And if anything is going to trigger them, it's you trying to censor their stuff.
ago is when shit really started to hit the fan. In those videos, I didn't mention the fact that President Trump has actually been in a lawsuit with Paramount for months now, attempting to sue them over an interview with Kamala Harris during the elections. You don't need to know the full context.
Yeah, they edited the thing down to make her seem competent when she's just said a lot of nothing.
Of that, all you need to know is that Trump is pissed off at Paramount. This wouldn't be a huge problem if it weren't for the fact that Paramount was attempting to merge with Skydance, and this merger needs approval from the FCC. The FCC is under the Trump administration, so essentially, as long as Trump is angry at Paramount and suing them, he can
Ooh,
hold
that's
this
a
merger
tough
above their
spot.
head and prevent it from happening. Paramount realizes that if they want this merger done, they just have to give in. So they make the decision to settle with Trump for $16 million, supposedly promising another $20 million worth of screen time from Skydance when the merger actually happens.
As part of the settlement, we also had to agree to doing pro-Trump messaging.
Shortly after they agree to this, in a shocking coincidence, Paramount announces the cancellation of their decades-long Late Show with the host Stephen Colbert. They cite the fact that the Late Show was losing them tens of millions of dollars a year, but the weird part is that not only had the show just been renewed through 2026 recently, but it's also the most popular late-night show on television based on ratings. Now, if you know anything about Stephen Colbert, you know
I wonder
that
if
he's
the
not
rest
the
of
biggest
them are
fan of
losing
Trump,
the money then.
and he's making fun of him pretty much every night on his show. And specifically, he called out this settlement.
To be fair, I could see him losing the money because he has not been nearly as funny as he used to be, because he stopped being funny and satirical and just started being political and sad.
That Paramount made with Trump as looking more like a political bribe than a legal proceeding. And consequently, Trump has been a very outspoken critic of Colbert in the past. So it definitely seems a bit coincidental that Paramount would decide to cancel the #1 late-night talk show on TV while they are actively in the process of caving to the president's intimidation tactics.
I mean, who the hell does this president think he is? The government can't cancel the show. I mean, what show are they gonna cancel next?
And it looks even worse when the president immediately hops on Truth Social to celebrate Colbert's cancellation, and then also threaten the jobs of the other late-night hosts who have a tendency to badmouth him. So with this lawsuit settled and the merger with Skydance all but confirmed by the president, Paramount is finally able to make a deal with South Park for a whopping $1.5.
Don't get me wrong, I don't think you should lose your job because of your political leanings, but like, it is affecting the show. If it's affecting the show, then absolutely get rid of him, because yeah, he's been... He used to be like god tier satire. He's just absolute the best at it. But then he stopped being funny. He just started being all real world is awful and terrible, and I want to complain about it.
$5 billion.
And that's not why people like him.
To admit that
and that's not why people watched him. And why you would get away from the thing that made you popular, I don't know.
Never been a big fan of Stephen Colbert. I personally have never found his show to be very funny, and after his cancellation, it seemed like a lot of people share that sentiment. And as much as I love South Park and think it's absolutely worth an insane amount of money, as I said in my last video, I think investing $1.5 billion into a single show for 5 years could literally never make sense from a business perspective. So I do believe Paramount when they say that Colbert was losing the money, reportedly $40 million a year. But with the
yeah, plus they have so many late night shows, and they're all the exact same show at this point.
Timing and the sheer amount
you
of
don't
money
need that many, and I assume this one costs the most.
we're willing to give to South Park immediately after, I find it incredibly hard to believe that money was the only motivator for
Oh no, definitely not. I feel like they had enough reasons to say, let's just be safe and do it.
this decision. Trump almost certainly had something to do with it, as they reference in this episode.
You really want to end up like Colbert? You guys gotta stop being stupid.
So all of this happens earlier in the week. South Park signs their deal with Paramount on Tuesday officially, and then they release this episode. Before the ink is even dry on the contract, they immediately go after Trump 10 times harder than Colbert ever has. Now, what's weird about this is the fact that Matt and Trey have been done with Trump for a while now. They claimed that the election was one of the major reasons season 27 didn't air at the end of 2024, because they just didn't want to talk about it anymore. And even after it was announced that the season would be airing in 2025, they went out of their way to make it very clear they weren't going to be targeting Trump because they had nothing left to say about him. So were they just lying? Why would they immediately make the first episode about Trump? Well, as I said, Matt and Trey really do not like Paramount. And after seeing how all of this stuff played out with Paramount and the president, they began scheming. You see, I think they had the season premiere finished a long time ago, since it was supposed to come out at the beginning of July. But once they got delayed and saw how all of this was playing out, they went back to the drawing board and made an entirely new episode in the span of less than a week, which
they can do. That's their whole MO. They make an entire episode in less than a week. Every episode was made in less than a week.
to be fair, isn't abnormal for them. Most of their episodes are made in 6 days. But they had not forgotten about what Paramount did to them, and they
What's on the TV?
wanted their revenge. They knew exactly
Is this
what
like
they
a
needed to do.
parody or something, or is it an actual show, you think?
They would go after Trump hard. Make him a complete caricature. Make him a naked fat guy with a tiny penis who was incredibly insecure about it. But their motivation was not just to spite Trump. No, they were just doing what they had to do in order to get a
It's weird that people in South Park don't know who the president is.
reaction out of him.
Now
They
that I
were
think about
rage
it.
baiting him, daring him to get angry about it, because they knew that it would ruin any of the good graces Paramount and Skydance had just built with him. They were intentionally provoking him in the hopes that he would either file another lawsuit against Paramount or block the Skydance merger. I mean, just look at the way they portrayed him in this episode. As someone whose job it is to watch South Park, I can tell you in confidence that this is not normally how they would make fun of someone.
No, this is completely unhinged and irregular for them. I've been watching since the first season, and no, this is abnormal in every possible way.
Especially in the modern era. I mean, just look at the way they portrayed him in the past. They very rarely will go this juvenile with their insults. Everything that they did in this episode, from the pictures of him on the White House walls to the repeated mentions of his tiny penis, was calculated. Not only to make this episode as memeable as possible to get everyone talking about it, but to go
And they did, and they still are.
after the things that Donald Trump has proven to respond to in the past. If they just made fun of his politics like they did in the past, no one would have cared and they would have gotten nowhere. So, they just clowned the dude in a way so over the top it wouldn't be out of place in a Looney Tunes episode. It reminded me so much.
Honestly, it still kind of works because it's them, but it's I don't know. I feel like I'm going to get sick of the tiny penis jokes because I don't really care for that kind of humor.
Of their episode on Osama bin Laden back in 2001, when they knew that no one wanted to see them make fun of the political climate or the nuance in it, so they just clowned him in a very similar way. All they cared about was getting their revenge on Paramount, and they did so in the most hilarious way possible. They took $1.5 billion from this company and immediately repaid them by spitting directly into their face.
They're such trolls, man. Like, mad respect to Matt and Trey for what they've done over decades of making this show, man. Since the 90s, the show has been going strong, ticking people off.
Handing them a lit bomb and saying, good luck with that. This might be one of the most nefarious, evil genius business moves I have ever seen in my life, and it just made Matt and Trey billionaires. And that might be the most South Park thing they have ever done. It almost feels like the decades of Matt and Trey farting in the face of the industry has all culminated in this, becoming billionaires from this industry they despise so much and immediately telling them to go fuck themselves. And it's obvious that Matt and Trey recognize that this is a dangerous game they're playing, as the whole subplot follows Cartman and Butters trying to kill themselves. This is literally Matt and Trey's suicide attempt, acknowledging that what they're doing could very well mean the end of the show. And if it does mean the end of the show, I honestly cannot imagine a better way to go out. It's absolutely...
I really don't want the show to end, but if it's gonna end, mutually assured destruction sounds like the best possible way for South Park.
Absolutely poetic, and I think it might be the funniest thing they have ever done. So now I hope you guys can start to understand the gravity of the situation. So let's finish it up by talking about my feelings on the episode overall. So the first thing I want to mention is that the show is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Okay, with South Park flying around the Paramount U.S. July 1st, the following episode will be banned. Why? Jared has AIDS. What? Why? Okay. I assume that one because of Scientology? I don't see why they would care about that. Isn't that all but falling apart? I know a lot of these episodes because they're based around the Jews. Yeah, Pip, Great Expectations. I assume they banned that one on principle for being the worst episode. Ginger Cow, Jews, Chupacabra, Jew, 201. I don't remember that one specifically. Cartoon Wars, probably Jews, and Suicide Bombers, I believe. Trapped in the Closet, Scientology. 2 days after the day after tomorrow. Heavy emphasis on Jew because Cartman refuses to help unless Kyle gives him his Jew gold he keeps around his neck, and that could be, but it's only in that one. Well, he does keep bringing up the Jew gold and whatnot. Let's see, you got F in the A. I don't remember what could be offensive about that. Passion of the Jew, obviously. Jews canceled. Portrayal, the aliens were portrayed as Jews with big noses and the facial hair and all that, and they spoke like stereotypical Jewish. Simpsons did it. I don't know. I don't think it had anything to do with maybe Suicide Bombers. I believe there were Suicide Bombers whenever they're raising. Isn't that the Sea Monkeys one? Or they made like their own. No, they made their own little things and like they tried to go to war with each other, just like the episode of The Simpsons. There were like Suicide Bombers or something. Jared has AIDS, possibly because of the constant mention of AIDS, but I don't feel like that's a big deal now. Super Best Friends, yeah. Muhammad was in that one. Pip, Great Expectations, worst episode, ban that one immediately. Terrence and Phillip is not without my anus. I don't know what would be offensive about that one. Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. I don't think there was anything offensive in that one unless you're still counting like, although it wasn't talking anything bad about gays. Huh. Well, I don't know. I know most of these are probably because of Jewish representation.
cast, and there aren't any banned episodes besides the Muhammad ones, which is great to see. But I do want to mention that Matt and Trey are getting paid a flat rate regardless of if people watch on Paramount Plus, so I'm sure they could
Got 'em.
not care less if everyone started sailing the 7 seas, if you catch my drift. But one thing about this episode I was excited to see is that Garrison is seemingly back for good, and I cannot wait
Good. Garrison's a great character. I was tired of him being someone else.
to see him play his old character again. It seems like they're setting up for Saddam Trump to be a recurring character, and I really hope that's the case because both him and Satan are great characters, and I'd love to see him a little more often. And what are they going to do with PC Principal?
I liked Satan as a character. Saddam, I like him sparingly. Like when he showed up in the one where they built the ladder to heaven at the end and did absolutely nothing. Great. Okay. Very little Saddam in that.
Who gave up on all of his PC values just because it's not popular anymore. I don't know how to feel about that. On one hand, I would love to see him return to his woke, preachy character, but on the other hand, it could be interesting to see him be an anti-woke, preachy character. I also wonder what they're going to do with Cartman, since the last we saw he was trying to kill himself because no one is woke anymore. If I had to guess, I would say that they're going to make him become woke, since he'll realize that's the most effective way to piss people off nowadays. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the show itself did that for the
That would be the best way. I mean, it's the only way he survives. If he really wants to tick people off, you're going to have to lead the woke revolution.
same reason. I've already seen people calling South Park woke on Twitter after this episode, and I think that's pretty funny. I think what a lot of those people don't really understand is that South Park is satire. Satire is inherently counterculture. South Park has not changed at all over the years. They have always been counterculture. The only thing that has changed is the culture. South Park makes fun of whatever the dominant ideas in the culture are, and as the culture has shifted so much in the last 27 years of their show, the groups of people getting offended by the show has shifted as well. In the late 90s, early...
Oh yeah, it's always bouncing around though. Because they make fun of everybody. It's always some people trying to cancel them, some people trying to defend them, and then they just switch sides.
2000s, it was the conservative, puritanical type that would get mad. Then the culture shifted towards tolerance and open-mindedness, and it was the liberals who would get mad. And now we've come full circle back to the conservatives getting mad. And honestly, I think that's just proof that South Park is doing their job well. The day people stop getting offended by South Park is the day that the show needs to end. But luckily, it doesn't seem like that'll be happening anytime soon. But all in all, I gotta say, this is one of the best episodes.
Honestly, a lot of the conservatives aren't even getting mad. A lot of them find it funny. Like J.D. Vance thought the whole thing was funny, and what's his face that goes to colleges and like owns college students or whatever, he thought it was funny.
South Park
And then the liberals got mad at him for not being mad.
has ever made, and we'll have to stay tuned to see the fallout. Matt and Trey have a Comic-Con panel scheduled literally for today, shortly after I'm writing this.
Hold on.
We'll also get to see just what they have to say about it. But that's all I have to say.
It'd be funny if they just completely ignored it. Like when they went to that award show wearing dresses, and anytime somebody asked them about it, they just completely ignored it and didn't mention the dresses.
This was crazy, and I'll see you guys after next week's episode, assuming the show still exists by then.
All right, guys.
What makes someone's
How do
work-
you feel about this? Did you watch the episode? Did you like it? What's your favorite episode of South Park? Honestly, I have like a handful I like rewatching, and then I skip also a handful that I don't enjoy at all. Because I don't know, it's just like they're not good repetitively. And like a lot of episodes, I do like watching over and over again when I'm binging the show. But there are a lot of episodes I do skip. Usually some of the more intense ones. I know that they're funny, but also I hate the manufactured tension. Because like I know it's going to be fine and it's a stupid cartoon. But like I still don't want to sit through it. So also leave a like and sub if you like the content. We do reactions every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We play video games the rest of the week on twitch.tv/inplaythejolly, shooting for 500 followers for my birthday. Catch me. Check me out. Also, check Blooms out. If you like South Park content, he does exclusively South Park content. So you're going to like a lot of his stuff. There's also some other creators like Johnny Two Cellos I really like. There he is, Johnny Two Cellos. Let's go. South Park is begging Trump to sue them. Yep, pretty much. Catch you later. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourselves. And remember to laugh at yourself. It's important to know you're not perfect. And it's okay to laugh at yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to end up crying. Catch you later, Bill and Ted. Love and nachos.